Ho dedicato la mia vita ai momenti più felici, ad inseguire un sogno, il mio sogno. Quante volte mi hai deluso, non importa, io ci credo e vivo il mio sogno. Bari, grande amore, Bari, unica e sola, Bari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola, facci sognare ancora, facci gridare ancora, Bari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola.
All right, welcome everyone to a brand new edition of the Staten Island Soccer Report, coming to you live from the studios of CTV. Alongside me, as always, Brian Daw.
Hello, everyone.
I got to tell you, Brian, we got a fantastic show lined up here tonight, I think.
Way to kick off the 80th show, huh?
Yep, number 80 tonight. All right, without further ado, let's just go right down the line here, starting off with Ludovico.
Ludo Masucci from Brooklyn Italians.
Yeah, we got him.
Rich Nellis from the Staten Island Soccer League.
Ernest Mordokaya from JCC and SB4U.
Josh Karayev, Silver Lake Dolphins.
Caitlin Kelly from Pride.
Emily Murray from Pride. Gabrielle Monahan from Pride.
Kiara Mendez from Pride.
Paulina Mendez from Pride.
Alana Genovese from Pride.
Okay, good job. I guess we could start off with the Pride. Let's start
Yeah,
off
go
with
ahead.
them. And, girls, how did this, maybe Rich could help us out with that a little, because I know your coach is not here yet. How did this team come about? And, let's start from the beginning.
Well, the Pride's part of a brand new soccer club that began this spring, the Staten Island Soccer Club. As you know, there were some changes in the landscape of soccer this year. These girls came together, looking for a place to play.
Okay.
They came up, put a couple of tryouts together. Girls came together. Fred Cipriani was their coach, got them all together, and they had a very successful season. Maybe we can ask the girls a little bit about how they finished up.
Okay, anyone with a mic could just...
So we finished the outdoor season in second place.
You could stand up.
Oh.
There you go.
So we finished the outdoor season in second place, which I think is kind of impressive because a couple months ago we didn't even know each other. So we're all from different schools. We met about, 6 months ago? And we won our Winter League season. We came in first indoor, and we came in second outdoor on Sunday.
Success.
That's a good job.
All right. Anyone else? You could pass the mic down.
We'll make it easy on you guys.
Yeah.
You could start with...
Putting me on the spot.
No, it's going to be easy because you all went through it back there when you're saying you all play high school, correct?
Yeah.
Just tell us what high schools you play for.
I play for Tottenville High School.
Okay.
I think that it's actually kind of funny, like with soccer, how me and Kiara, she plays for Wagner, and Emily Murray plays for Tech. And during the high school season, we're all rivals, kind of in a way.
Right.
And then at the end of high school, we start travel together, and we're like a family. So it goes from rivals to teammates, but I think the bond is definitely deeper than just a teammate bond. It's more of like a family bond.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's very nice.
Okay. Go ahead.
I really think it shows how well we clicked together with how good we did this season and in an indoor and outdoor season. And also we've just met each other, and most of us some of us played together for a long time, but most of us haven't. And just this season, most of us came together and we did so well, and I think it really shows how close we got over the season in the last couple months.
Go ahead, you can pass the mic down.
Oh, thanks. I know that we had a family bond because this is my first year playing travel, and I knew none of these girls. So at the beginning of winter season,
All right, go ahead.
I knew no one, and coming on this team was very nice because everyone, like if I needed a ride, Lemon would volunteer to drive me. Everyone was very nice, and we just had a great bond.
All right.
So she just called me Lemon. So before anybody gets confused, I'm Lemon. It's a nickname that I got from soccer, which is another show of our family bond. We get so close that we end up giving nicknames to each other, and they accepted my crazy nickname instead of being like, "Oh, please don't call yourself that." So I really love you girls.
Okay, so Rich, how far, one question, what's the age? You're 16, is it?
So right now we're 17, 18s, right? With this
17,
group right
17,
now.
18.
So we actually will have a few graduating out, but we have a good piece of the team
Okay.
coming back again next season. So we should
Okay.
be gunning for first place, right? Next year, next spring.
Okay, go ahead.
We're a really good team, honestly. Yeah, like even on and off the field, we're always hanging out. Like even at practice, after practice, we go play. We all go to Moe's. You know, have some quesadillas. We're just always together.
All right, go ahead, Brian.
But I coach U10 girls, and I prepare them as, teammates, and I'm already talking to them about what it's going to be like to play on a team together and then play against each other in high school. How hard is that to be able to separate, or should I say, how easy is it to be able to play hard, compete against each other, and then at the end of the game, give each other a hug and go out to Moe's and have quesadillas?
Well, personally for me, I think it's funny. When we play Wagner, Tauntonville and Wagner have always been rivals. So I catch myself sometimes if Kiara makes a play, in my head I'm like, oh, that was a nice play. But then I'm like, oh wait, I'm playing against her. So it's funny, but then at the end of the game, win or lose with Kiara, when we high five, it's always a hug at the end, and then same thing with Emily. But at the end of the day, I think it doesn't matter who we're playing for, we're always going to have that bond that soccer gave us.
That's good to know.
I feel like during the game, it's a whole different world when you play during the game and when you're off the field. During the game, you just get into game mode, especially if soccer's your life. So you go into the game and you play hard and you play against the team and you want to win. But off the field, we're family. We know each other, so we're gonna give each other a hug and say hey and have a good time. But on the field, we're rivals.
Yep, that's the way to go,
That's
I think,
good.
in my opinion, right? Play hard while you're playing. Go ahead.
I think also the fact that we're on one team helps us more during our games against each other. Because personally, if Kiara is running down the field trying to score on me, there's no way I'm letting her go. So I think it actually pushes you. Gabby and I, we used to make each other cry on the field, but it pushes you to work harder because you're I can't let her go to practice and be I beat you or something. So it definitely helps too.
Okay.
All right, anybody else? No? Okay, we'll hand it back over to Rich. Anything else, Rich, with this club going forward?
So we started out this season, again, first year in the
Yeah.
spring. We ended up with 6 teams, about 91 players. Just had our tryouts, and it looks like we're going to be able to double our enrollment
Okay.
going into. We're going to have younger age groups, so we'll have fall and spring season teams now. So we're looking at maybe 187
Nice.
players now going into next season. And I think we're kind of on a good roadmap. I coach a team in the division in the club as well, a U15 girls team, and one thing that we kind of stressed is that we have a combo 2002-2003 team, and there were some girls that played high school currently that didn't play travel before.
Right.
We had some 8th graders who did play travel, but they're getting ready for high school, and we said that this is the goal for us right now. For you that are in high school already, is to get better so that you freshmen that made your JV team or played major varsity but didn't get a lot of playing time, now it's time to get better. Let's work on your skills. Let's give yourselves a chance to contribute to your varsity teams, to make your varsity teams. And for you 8th graders that may have not played travel before, coming out of a rec program, maybe you practice 1 day a week, sometimes 2. Some coaches are 2 and 3 days a week. That
Yeah.
Like I was a little nuts, and I did my 8th grade team was practicing 3 days a week.
Nothing wrong with that, Rich.
But I said, okay, so now let's give you a little bit more of a high school atmosphere. You know, it's going to be a different level of training. There's going to be different touch drills. There's going to be different mechanics that you're going to be working on. It's going to be more strenuous, and everything with a ball, and everything is nonstop. Everything's in constant motion for 2 hours. And it was a good eye-opener, I think, for those 2003s that played with us this year. And again, for first-year team, with about half the team playing up, our group was very, very competitive in our league. So I'm very proud of them.
Okay, good job, girls. You guys have any questions?
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Okay.
What league are you guys playing?
We're in the MOSA League.
Mosa, okay. Go ahead, Ludo.
No, I always admired women's soccer in the United States, and it all comes down to commitment, sportsmanship, and respect for your opponent, and that's what these girls have talked about a few minutes ago.
Well, women's national team is the best in the world, right? It starts right here, I guess, right?
Absolutely,
Right.
it all starts from the young age, where you start to develop, and let's hope as time goes on, we can get away from that winning mentality that this country, I believe, has a culture that development only comes through winning.
Right.
And that is not true. You learn through practices and playing games and just basically giving 150% at every practice and every game. You might not win at the beginning, the first few years when you're young. The medals, the trophies are not important. It's the development that's important in the long run.
Okay.
Exactly it.
Ernest, anything?
Yeah, I wanted to ask. You guys were saying about we are family, but who made this? Well, who is it? Proper coaching? Is it like who is the person, or how did you guys? Yes. How did you guys? Who brought you together? Okay, tryouts, but then who is the person? Is a coach? Was a director? Was a captain that made this bond?
I feel like of course, like our coach always has something to do with it. Like, of course, he wants to push us to be closer together and work well as a team. But also, like, just the group of girls we had, we just clicked so easily, and we hung out at, like Kiara said, we went out to eat. We're having like a sleepover after this tonight. So we just hang out a lot, and we just meshed, and we had a good time.
I just think that like we're all dedicated to soccer. Every single one of us. Every single one of us. We're all dedicated to
It's
soccer.
a personal response.
It's just our number one sport. It's like always in our heart. That's all we want to do is just play soccer. So that's another reason.
I know our coaches definitely had a big part in this with Coach Peterson and Coach Fred. They always like push us to be closer and to like communicate with each other, even like during the game and after the game.
Right.
And I think it was helpful that sometimes in a lot of our games, actually, the coaches would step back and let us take control of the field, kind of, and like Lemon would move her position around, and then it would work out better. And then we just kind of got to know each other really easily because, like Kiara said, we're all dedicated, and we didn't have a team at the beginning of the year, and we found our way here, and it just kind of helped us.
All right. George, anything on your end?
No, I really admire what they're saying about coming together as a team for the first time. Coach Ernest and I, we coached the U9 Dolphins team for Silver Lake, and they're a brand new team as well. And they also had very good result for their first time together. And that's why Coach Ernest is asking, because we want to know from you guys, was there an event that put you guys together, maybe a tournament or a game that like you fought really hard and that you came out of that as a team or as a family? Because we're looking to do the same thing with our girls, with our little 8 and 9-year-olds. And I think towards the end of the season, we started to see that happen, I think more after the tournament that we did in Manalapan. And for the first time, they also finished in third place as a first-time team together, which was phenomenal. So we admire you guys, and we're going to take the lessons that you're giving us today, and we're going to give it to them on the field.
All right. Great job. All right, we'll focus a little bit more on, actually, we're going to wait for Fred to come in. Hopefully, he'll be here momentarily. Let's focus a little bit more on what's going on with the league. Ludovico, let's start with you. Let's see, what do you bring to the Brooklyn Italians? And
Well, the Brooklyn Italians is one of the oldest clubs in the United States. Currently, we have approximately 500 players, 3 and change in the travel program, in the competitive program from 7 to 19. And we also have a men's team that play in the NPSL, which is amateur, but it's considered fourth division in the in USSF, in United States Soccer Federation. And this year, we have a very competitive team and close games. The Cosmos B are also competing in the NPSL. It's a league that is growing. Our youth teams, they play in the NPL from U12 to the 99s, I believe, to the U19s. And then we have the young teams that play in the 5-borough league. And then we also have a development program, which we call Scuola Calcio, in English means soccer school, that we teach kids fundamentals. It's all about fundamentals. And then at the end, they play mini games, 1v1, 2v2, max 3v3. And then basically, we focus on boys and girls from 4 to 14 in our development program that hopefully one day they will bridge over to our travel program at a young age.
All right, let me ask you a question. What drives you? What brings you every day? You don't have any children, little ones playing, right?
No, I do not. I had. Now my son is
So-
24. It's the passion. Soccer is a passion. It's part of your DNA. Either you have it or you don't. This passion. And if you're raised and if you're born and raised in a country where soccer means everything, it's a religion, and you play every day for hours. And when we were kids, that was the only sport that we played. There was no computers, no cell phones, nothing to do. Basically, just a soccer ball, and wherever you could find a little field to set up some goals with a couple of rocks, and play anywhere you can. So, it's passion, it's dedication, and it's passing on this passion to other kids that are willing to learn and succeed. And I think the main focus of playing any sports is creating character. Building character, personality, and that these kids learn to compete, but also learn through defeats how to become stronger. And all these lessons, one day, hopefully, they will help you in your regular life.
Okay, very good.
After you stop playing, of course.
You want to go to Rich? You have anything for Ludo?
No, I'm good. I don't have anything.
All right, let's go right down to Rich. And Rich, again, you're here from Staten Island Soccer Club and League, youth soccer. So just give us some anything going on with the league. What are you looking to do in the future?
Sure. So the league is, as a whole, we're kind of transforming and doing a lot of new things as the years go on. You know, we've developed a short-sighted play, you know, in breast cancer awareness tournaments and our President's Cup and our friendship games, where we've asked clubs to give us the name of 3 or 4 players from the U8, U9, U10 age groups and send them down to the field. And much like the girls came together kind of for the first time this year, these kids that got to play against each other, we kind of put them in there for one day, put them on a team together, get them to play some short-sighted games and get them to know somebody else. And in the end, it's about teamwork. It's about developing camaraderie with your team, and one day, just in the pro level, when someone can get traded or bought from one club to another, you can have the same thing. Going forward, somebody can move and go to a new school and change clubs. So it's good to have, the experience of playing with other people as well. One of the things that we've done now for the last 4 years, starting right now next week, is our high school league. We're one of the only recreational leagues that have a high school division in the late spring, early summer, and we put people on their teams according to where they're going to go to high school, and we have licensed coaches and trainers down there coaching them, and same type of thing. These 8th graders are going to be playing with girls that are already in high school. 9th graders going to 10th, 10th going to 11th, 11th going to 12th. So it's an awareness for them of what the next level of soccer is going to be for them going to high school. The other thing that it does is that it kind of takes a little edge off of that first day of school, You know, sometimes anybody come. You guys played in the high school league, right? So when you first walk into school, you know, you see that familiar face, and all of a sudden, you know, it's not as nerve-wracking, it's not as edgy that first day of school because you have some familiarity and some friendly faces, you know, to go to school with and say, oh, okay, I feel comfortable now. I feel like I'm home. One of the things that we have recently coming up, and it's a good segue to Ernest. For the second year in a row, we're running our beach sand tournament on July 15th and July 16th. Last year was the first year that we did it. We played 4v4 in the sand on 20 by 40 fields. We're going to go 25 by 40 this year, 5v5, no keeper. Last year we had 400 or so players playing on Midland Beach during the weekend on Staten Island. We hope to duplicate that. And again, we're getting big. We're trying to do these things. We can't do these things by ourselves. We're all a volunteer board. So it's great. Segue to Ernest.
All right, just before we get there, what's the thinking for no keepers? Just because I'm a former keeper, I just want.
It's a good question. The idea is that just more touches and the emphasis on scoring is, you know, as U.S. Soccer is starting to put that emphasis, they want to see the younger age groups now, you know, the U7s and belows are playing 4v4 with no keeper. They want the kids to enjoy it. They want to get touches. They want to encourage the scoring. They want the kids to have fun during the game. And same type of thing, you know, we play 5v5, and in the sand, it's a different game. You know, it's a passing game. It's not a carry the ball.
Right.
So it's a good opportunity for them to kind of learn the next level of the game and have to move the ball around the field, and smaller nets, you know, so they're going to aim small, as they say, you know, when you drills, you know.
So give us dates. You have anything set up?
So Saturday, July 15th is the girls bracket. We play from U8s to U12s from 9 a.m. to noon. We take a little break, and then we'll have the U13 and up right through U19. We'll play from 3 to 7 on Saturday, and Sunday the 16th we start all over again with the boys, same time. 8 to 12s, 9 to 12 in the morning, and then the older ones in the evening.
Now, one of the good things about it is that Miller Field has nothing to do with Miller Field. So if you get a little bit of rain, they're not going to close it on us at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely. Last year was a tale of two different days. The Saturday that we played, it was very foggy. You could just about see the ocean when we were playing in there. And it was foggy, misty, probably about 57 degrees. And then we're wearing jackets and, you know, everything else. And then the next day was 92 degrees, blazing sun, and everybody wanted to go in the water while they were playing. You know, so it was definitely a tale of two days. But this year, Ernest from the JCC and also SBFU Academy has stepped up. He's helping us draw some interest in our tournament. So maybe I'll just segue over to Ernest.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate to be part of this event. I know last year was successful, and we're looking to improve certain things because we had some, you know, positive, some negative feedback. So I'm looking to get involved, and I'm looking to give back to the community, get the clubs. I would be working mainly on the travel side, so I would like to kind of get the travel clubs together and their teams and just, you know, give them a good experience, you know, provide a good competition, well organized. So like I said, we'll make some improvements, and I'm looking forward to be part of this event and succeed. So
what I like about it is that you're finally starting to see the Staten Island soccer community come together in some shape. You know, you mentioned earlier, you know, Frank from Silver Lake said his boys wouldn't be available on Sunday. Ernest is involved. So there's communication going on that everybody on this island, what did we say? 17, you know, a 17-mile radius.
Right. Yep.
You know, we got all this soccer going on and immense levels of talent on this island. And now to start bringing them together, whether it's at a beach tournament and different, I think it's a great thing. That's what I've always wanted to see. In the short period of time that I've been involved with Staten Island soccer, that's always been my biggest thing, trying to wrap my head around is the different, you know, everybody's in a different way, and go here, you're part of this side, you're on this side of the island, so you go here, you're on this side of the island, and who's going over to Jersey then? Exactly. So that's a nice thing to see. At least here we're getting, you know, two different clubs getting together to make something better. So that's a great thing.
I would also like to add that all my years being involved in soccer, I lived in Brooklyn basically for the past 40 years, I always felt Staten Island produced the best talent in the 5 boroughs, soccer-wise. It's just that, like you said, maybe before the community, the borough was not soccer close enough as a community. And now, hopefully, the past couple of years, thanks to the gentleman here at the in the studio, that if this community can come together, I think this borough can produce a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent in this borough.
And I want to add a few things in regards to, different clubs, have their own programs. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, having, separate clubs. An event like this, when you bring in those clubs together, when they're competing against each other, again, the competition, friendly competition, I think is always welcome.
Yep.
And you cannot really avoid that.
No.
There's always somebody who will try to make a difference and try to create something new, which is fine. But as long as we work together and we cooperate and we communicate, and that's what matters. I actually want to mention something. I used to play for Brooklyn Italians.
Oh, wow.
Back when I was under 16, and we won the State Cup. My coach was Joe Barone and Joe Bassamo. I played for Brooklyn Knights in PDL, and I had only great memories when I was playing for Brooklyn Italians. They took me to Italy for the Ferrari tournament, and I was part of the Gacci product too when I was growing up. So Gacci and Brooklyn Italians were those 2 clubs that I was, I was part of, and I never forget this experience. It was an unforgettable experience, from coaching to the club culture, to again. Me playing, for Gacci, played against Brooklyn Italians. It was always a good competition. It was always a good, soccer, and we were getting some crowds. But you know what? At the bottom line, yes, they are different clubs. They have their own identity, but when we come to the pitch, we're competing. Off the pitch, we're friends, we're buddies. We say hello, and
It's the
that's
same
what.
thing like the girls playing in high school. You're a teammate on high school, playing against each other, and then you come. I think it's great.
And that's what it's all about. I think
That's
soccer.
exactly
Yep.
it.
Passion,
That's exactly
love for soccer.
All right, so let's ask the Pride girls. What do you girls think about the beach soccer? What do you
I think
what do
it
you
sounds
about
really exciting. Like,
it?
I want to do it. Anybody else?
One of the tournaments, actually, Lemon broke her toe at one of the tournaments.
Oh,
We
boy.
had like a beach soccer tournament, and that was exciting. And she continued to play. She continues to play with her injuries. But I love playing soccer on the beach. Every time I go to the beach, I love to play soccer. So beach tournaments are always great. Fun time.
All right,
It doesn't really matter where you play as long as you play.
as long as you're playing, right?
That's exactly
Doesn't
it.
You
matter.
be on the streets, on concrete, on cement.
Right.
It doesn't matter
If
as
you
long
have
as you have a little
passion for it,
space.
right.
If you have passion. Absolutely.
All right.
That's right.
So Ernest, let's get back to Ernest for a few minutes. How's your program coming along? What are you looking?
With SB4U, we started with 1 travel team. Now we have 5 travel
You're up to
teams. We
5.
competed in EDP.
Okay.
Some teams struggled, some teams did well.
Okay.
The bottom line, I just had my picnic. Yesterday we had a big awards picnic, and I was telling the parents, trying to relay a message to them. Hey, it's not about winning.
Right.
It's not about winning or losing. It's not about if your child gets a trophy or a medal, in a tournament. It's part of, it's part of the development, And I was trying to tell them that, coaches, they have to do their job. You got to give them some time, and
Right.
it's like when a parent is a lawyer, I don't tell them how to do their a lawyer position or whatever. But so we got to give an opportunity to the coaches to do their job. Same thing
Yeah.
with the kids. Like they mentioned that coach. I believe you mentioned the coach's name.
Fred and
Fred
Peterson.
And Peterson,
Right.
they give you an opportunity to make your own decision on the field, right? And that's what it's all about. We have to give you an opportunity. That's how you learn. You make mistakes, yeah, it's part of the
Right.
game. So I think it's very important that we trust our players, that we trust, our parents as well, and our club members, and we got to give them an ownership. They need to feel that ownership. They need to feel that, hey, you know what? They are wanted here. Sometimes I realize that a lot of coaches, they want to be in control. Yes, I get it. You are a leader, you're a coach, but I think the players are the ones on the field, and they are the ones who's making decisions. And I believe it's very important that we have to allow them to be themselves,
Right.
to find themselves, to explore, you know, and I think it's very important. So my motto in SB4U and JCC is let the kids play, you know, enjoy it, and that's how they learn. You know, that's how they learn.
So now your teams, do they have trainers or the coaches? How does that?
Yeah, well, yeah, we have trainers. All our trainers are licensed trainers. They are getting compensated for their time, and we have some volunteer parents that are more on a communication role, where they parent coordinators. They trying to make sure that parents get on the field on time and so on.
Right.
But in regards to our trainers, I actually mandate our trainers to take licenses, different education courses.
Okay.
This coming up Sunday, if you don't mind, I'll
not at
make a
all.
quick announcement.
Yeah.
We're going to have a 4v4 diploma course through NSCAA. SB4U is an active member, club member of NSCAA, and we're constantly using their, whether it's online education courses or in person, you know, where we have to go. So this Sunday at the JCC, we're going to be offering a 4v4 diploma, which is an excellent course for the beginner coaches or advanced coaches. So if anybody would be interested, it would be they could contact me, and I will, you know, is this Sunday
Give contact info, phone number, email.
Yes, my number is 347-612-0970, or the information could be found on www.soccerbest4u.com.
Very good. Thank you.
Just to piggyback onto what, you know, Ernest is talking about, you know, licensing and coaches.
Yep.
One of the things that we as a league have tried to do in the last 3 years is that we've mandated that every coach that coaches teams in our league has a minimum of an F license from Eastern New York State. You know, it's a tough job. It's a volunteer job. You know, daddy coaches, mommy coaches, you know, they want to do the right thing. They want to have time with their kids. But at the same time, we have a responsibility to make sure the game is being taught properly. So this really the reason why it seems like it's a burden. Oh, geez, we're volunteering. Now I got to take this license course. I got to do 4 hours online, and I got to do 4 hours on the field. But it really does go a long way into curtailing issues out on the field, just with discipline and other parents kind of sometimes stepping on toes. And
Just
things
knowing
like
the game.
knowing the game and being able to say, hey, look, I did this licensing course. This is what it teaches us. This is what we're trying to do. And it helps explain to the parents, like, this is the curriculum. This is what we're supposed to be doing at this age group. It's not about winning. It's not about, you know, being 8-0 at the U7 level. It's about, you know, are we teaching age-appropriate drills? Are we teaching the different parts of the foot where it's acceptable to, you know, to touch the ball? Are we starting to teach, you know, integrated play where they're not just playing with each other, me and the ball? You know, are they playing me, the ball, and a buddy now?
That whole process.
You know, that whole process, and understand what the psychological and emotional development of the players are. So in the last 3 years, we've licensed over 350 coaches with the minimum of an F level throughout the league, and I think we're going to start seeing, you know, a nice upturn in the caliber of play that comes out of our rec league.
So every team has to have one coach, at least with a license, right? Is that correct?
Every team must have one coach.
Must
have one coach with an F license.
Good.
And also, John, I would like to add that as parents and coaches, we should encourage players to watch games on TV. Yes, practice is very important, 3-4 times a week, the game over the weekend.
Pride about that.
And to watch games on TV, and basically the coach giving like a tactical plan. Basically, you're playing right midfielder. Look at what the right midfielder does on TV when the team has possession or loses possession. And also to support our local professional teams, because if these players have aspirations of becoming professionals and playing a high-level soccer, they should be able to watch professional soccer players and support the local teams, meaning New York Red Bulls, New York City FC, New York Cosmos, to watch a professional game live, because even though you are watching it on TV, TV cannot show you the whole field.
Right.
With
Right.
watching a game live, a professional game live on a soccer field in a stadium, you're able to see everything, when the team has possession, when the team loses possession, how they become compact and how they're attacking.
Okay.
So I think that's also very important. And also going back to what the gentleman was saying before, I still see too many coaches at a young age group playing competitive games and beating and running the score
Oh, yeah.
on the
Yeah,
opponents 14, 15, nothing. I think that makes absolutely,
We'll get to that.
absolutely
I'm
no
glad
sense.
you said that, because my daughter doesn't. I have no stake in Staten Island youth soccer, but I know a lot of people that do. And one of the things I found out is, you guys to stop that, you guys implemented a 6-goal differential rule, which I think is great. I'm sure people don't
Correct. Play
like
possession,
that, but
possession.
I think that's great, because it's exactly what it does. It forces you to play the game the right way, and forces you to have some parity in the teams.
But this is what we were talking about before. So now you have coaches that have competitive teams, but instead of putting these teams in a competitive division, they play them in a lower division, so they beat everyone by big scores. And now they think they're getting the message across to the parents that, okay, my team is winning every game.
Right.
That means my son or daughter is developing because they're winning 6, 7, nothing, 8, nothing every game.
Right.
But you're not playing in the best
Good point.
division. You're not excelling. You're not.
Good point, and I'm sure John can attest to it, and Ernest has said it on monthly meetings for the last 3 years, and it's something that we go on and on and on about. So one of the things that we did implement that rule, and part of our coaching education is like, hey, coaches, you also now need to learn how to coach. You need to understand who you're playing against. So when you score the first 2 goals in the first 2 minutes of the game, you kind of know that you have that game in hand now.
Right.
So now what are you doing differently as a coach?
Right.
Is there a 5-pass rule? Is there the keeper
gotta-
has to touch the ball before we can
You
go
got to
on the
score
attack?
with your left foot if you're a righty. If
There's
you're,
no attacks through, with the dribble. Everything comes off the pass.
Right.
Little things like that. Take your defenders and move them up front. Take your offense. You take your offense and move them in the back of the field.
Make a practice out of it. A learning practice.
Make a
We
learning
could probably
practice.
spend a whole show on just that topic, but I think the Pride have somebody that they want to announce.
Here's our coach, Fred Cipriani.
Welcome, Fred.
welcome to the show.
All right, yeah, we could pass him, Mike. So welcome, Coach.
Thank you, thank
You
you.
want to give us some feedback on your season?
Well, let me tell you, this is some collective group we have with the Pride. We tried to get something going over the winter,
Right.
and we had 9 girls, and collectively, it was just remarkable how the chemistry just took off. We winded up in the A division of the high school league at Center Circle, and these girls just found a way, week in, week out, to win games and just to impress. Self-coached, very, very easy.
Self-coach.
The dream team.
Okay.
And I know that there's 4 seniors here, right? You raise your hands. And let me tell you, they will be missed. My daughter is a senior. She's working this evening, so I believe she's watching.
Okay.
She's a hostess at Gennaro's Restaurant and Pizzeria. So they're probably very excited right now.
Say hello.
Say hello. But I'll tell you, it really is wonderful. These kids found a way. We winded up, I hate to say it, but beating Silver Lake in the championship game
Okay.
over the winter, and just carried over to the spring. Rich.
Don't hate to say it.
Yeah.
You did it. You did it. Never hate to say it.
So Rich Nellis had a big part in getting all of this off the ground.
Yep.
And every week, these girls just fought, even in the spring. 9 girls, 10 girls, 11 girls at a game. Communication, encouragement, regardless of the level of play of their teammate, constantly giving them reassurance that they have each other's back. It really was a dream team. I'm not going to cry, but but let me tell you, these girls, I wish all of them could be here because, and I'm sure they all wanted to be here because that's the way this team was. It's a collective group, and they just would raise their level of play, and they would adjust the level of play to their opponent.
Right. Okay.
If the level of play of their opponent was a skill set, they would raise their skill set to find a way to overcome. If the other team was physical, they would encourage each other to fight back. I barely said anything. At times I would have to move people around if someone looked tired, but just self-coached, self-sufficient team. It was just really, really unbelievable. We tied for second place. I don't know if you knew that. In one remarkable season, we moved up to a gold-level team. I don't know if people are familiar with that. But in 9 games, that's pretty impressive.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm very, very proud. Peterson, Azila is the head coach.
Right.
Adriana is one of the assistant coaches. And I'm also an assistant coach. And I'm sure I share our thoughts and just so happy with what they've done. And you had a sample of the type of team that they are.
Yep.
At the charity event.
Right, we've seen them. Yep.
Which was really something of, you tip your hat to these kids, that it was all about sportsmanship, keeping soccer on Staten Island in a friendly manner. And that's basically what we were trying to do here, is just have a group of kids that just want to play.
Right.
Could care less, win, lose, or draw, just as long as you put a quality game out there. Not the same goal scorers every game, not the same catalysts every game, but the same communication and support every single game. I thought Jill was going to be here. I hope she's watching, because she had made some strides over the course of the season. This is a girl that walked away from soccer after 8th grade because she couldn't make a travel team.
Right, okay.
And she came back on this team, and I tell you, she was one of our more potent players at the end of the game, at the end of the season, rather. And she had an impact in her last game where we came from behind, and we winded up winning 2-1, and it was very impressive. And who scored that second goal to give us the lead? Gwen. If she's listening, but she had a remarkable game the game before. She really set the tone in the game before. She didn't score, but she just tiresome, effortless, just consistent pressure on the defenders, that she forced the play to where they over-pursued her, and she just fed her teammates for several goals and ultimately our victory. But she finally got a goal under her belt in the final game, and the winning goal, the last goal of the season, I thought it was very fitting that they did that. And when I tell you how supportive this team is, you really have to see it, firsthand. So I don't know what else I could say. I'm very sorry I'm late.
All right,
I was going to call in, but this is a very good thing.
Let's get to Ernest about the running up the score. What's your take on that and with your club there?
Well, I think it's just, first of all, when a coach is running a score, I believe he's just not educated. Okay, I think education is a key here, and again, maybe they want to prove a point, or maybe they just caught up in a game. And I'm going to tell you a phrase here. Some coaches coach in the game, and that's where they get caught up with that. Or some coaches coach outside of the game, meaning that they are just making sure that their players is doing what they're doing. They're not constantly joystick coaching, and that's what happens.
Or maybe they just think it's about them, and not the kids.
Exactly. Yes.
They
So
want to
Rich,
live their fantasies through their kids.
Yeah.
This question is for Rich. A team scores, let's say 6 goals within the first 15 minutes. I've seen it happen. What are we supposed to do? I mean, what do you tell the coaches to do the next 50 minutes of the game, 40 minutes?
Well, hopefully what we've instilled at this point with the coaches is that it doesn't get to 6-0 in the first 5 minutes of the game.
I've seen it as a referee and also as a coach.
We can have continued education for those programs. We actually sit the coaches down in front of our board and go through different tactics that they should be employing in those situations.
Okay.
The idea is that, we used to have, if it reached 6-0, the losing coach had the option to abandon the match, and, then we could take a player off the field, take 2 players off the field. the ultimate thing is that we've wanted to stop legislating the game. Right? The game is the game. Well, the game has to flow. Right? It's up to the coaches to manage the game.
Right.
And we have continued education where we talk to the coaches. Okay, what are you doing? Do you have a team that has 4 travel players on it? Are those 4 travel players still in the game when it's 5-0?
Yep.
You know, or Johnny that, you know, or Jane, you know, that only plays rec, and this is his only soccer experience for the week. Are they sitting on the bench while the four travel players who have 3 practices a week have a tournament?
Well, how do you manage that? How can you or the league?
We've done different approaches. We have a limit to the number of travel players that should be on a recreational soccer team. If they have that maximum limit, they need to play in the highest division. If not, up an age group, and we control that now. We no longer allow the directors to place the teams in division. We go by past experience and we say, I'm sorry, your team is going to play U12 and you're going to play in Division 1.
So you kind of implemented a promotion relegation in there based on, and then throw the player factor in there. If you got 5 kids on your roster that are travel players, well, you're not playing A anymore in U10. You're playing whatever you put them in at U11 or whatever, or U12
in the next year. And again, it is continued education. It's calling the coaches in. It's finding clubs, you know, that don't whose directors may or may not. They probably are, you know, talking to their coaches on a regular basis, but. You know, listen, coach, director X, you know, your coach is running up the score 2 games now in a row. We have to do something about this. The next time, we're going to suspend the coach.
Yeah, I know from experience in the leagues my younger kids played in Jersey. They'll put you at a 7-goal differential. You can score. You can definitely. You want to run the score up, you can, but you're going to get charged. I think it's like $25 a goal.
That's exactly what.
And then you'll get the win, but you're only going to get 2 points instead of 3 points, so that it could affect you at the end.
And you get the phone call from that league director saying,
exactly.
So what were you thinking that you were running the score up 8-0 in the first half of the game? What exactly were you doing? You get that phone call, and that's what that's what we're trying to do.
So, Rich, next question: what do you do, or what can you do if a team comes with 20 players, and another team comes with 9, or 7? Just enough to play, right? And that team is playing with the 11 versus the 7.
You know, it's a catch-22. You know, sportsmanship will tell you, you know, to play down and play 7v7 with the other team. Also understanding that, you know, you have 20 players on a team and you may only be playing 9v9. So how do you get those 11 players in the game? You know. The most common approach can be a simple discussion with the other coaches. Look, just for the sake of playing time, I'm going to play 9v7, but as soon as the game goes to 2-0, I'm going to come down and I'm going to come even with you. And then I ask the same question. Do you have 4 travel players on your team? Are those 4 travel players still on the field when you're playing 20 against 7?
I've seen this past season where clubs would play the 11 versus the 7 as a ref, and you know. It's not changing.
You know, and there is a problem. Not changing anything. And there is a problem too, because then, and this is part of an issue when you're dealing with clubs as opposed to a league where you control the membership. You know, you have clubs that may be smaller clubs, and they have an enrollment issue, trying to get players on the team.
Okay.
So the flip side of that, though, is I will tell you there are some teams that struggle to get a full team to put them in a division, and they don't want to turn the kids away because they've been playing maybe since they're in kindergarten. So now what do you do with that team? And this is part of our education as the league board as well, is, listen, sometimes we have to make the hard decision. We need to take that team. You're going to have to move them up and take them and move them with your other 6 players that you don't have a team for in order to get them up, because you don't want to put that team out on the field week after week after week that you know is going to play short.
Correct.
And I think Lou wanted to jump in.
Okay.
Well, basically, it all comes down to common sense. And like Rich was saying, you have to try to get the message across that if you're winning 7, 8-0, your son and daughter, they're not developing. It's just like school, putting a 5th grader in a 3rd grade class. It's you're not learning it. Everything comes very easy, and you're not developing as a player. And seeing your son or daughter scoring 3, 4 easy goals against a non-competitive team, it's meaningless.
Wasted
So
time.
basically, it all comes to, like Rich was saying before, comes from the league, to the coaches,
Right.
to the parents. It's a pyramid that it has to start from the top. But if there's no common sense, we turn everything into a victory, or I'm the best coach because I beat the other team 9-0,
Yeah.
and it's all about me. And I go home and I tell my wife, "Look, honey, I'm the best coach in the world. Today I won 8-0." It's
Yeah, those
it's
are the-
meaningless.
those are the
It
guys we
doesn't-
don't want,
It
yeah.
doesn't mean anything.
Right,
But
right.
I think the rules that Rich and the league are trying to implement, I agree 100%. You have to show an example from the top. Not everyone may be on board, but eventually common sense will prevail.
Can I ask a question?
Okay, yeah.
Quick question. For the vast experienced coaches here, a lot more than I ever will get, do you think that's a function when the coach runs up the score? Is it a function of parent expectation? We want to win, we want to win? Or is it an ego of the coach, or maybe a combination of the two?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both because, like we said at the beginning of the program, unfortunately, the culture of this country about sports, it's about winning. Parents in this country, remember, it's pay to play in this country. In Europe and South America, it's not that much. So here, if I'm paying, I want to see results. And how do I see results? I see results through winning, and winning big. Just like school, that they get these certificates on a weekly basis, monthly basis, a principals list, honor rolls, and other awards that these kids get. So I'm the best. I want to be the best. I'm paying, so my team has to win. So at that point, the coach, in order to keep the parents happy, they put their teams in a lower division so they can win 7-8-0, and the parents think, okay, my son, my daughter is developing, or my son and daughter are the best because they got that certificate from school, being the student of the month.
Okay.
So it's basically a little bit of both. It comes down to common sense and understanding that it's not about the coach, it's about the kids, but also the parents have to play their part and simply say, winning is not everything, it's development.
Let's get Rich, and then we'll ask the girls what they think about that.
So one of the things that I did a little bit of the coaching education at the beginning of the season in our recreation division. Two questions that I asked the coaches out in the audience is that the first question, when you do this, I want you to lead everything that you do with this question. How do I want my players to remember me 20 years from now? Do you want them to remember you as the guy who jumped, or the lady who jumped up and down and screamed on the sideline, constantly yelling, harping on them, yelling, screaming like a lunatic on the sideline? Or do you want them to remember that, hey, this is the guy that gave me an opportunity. This is the young lady that gave me an opportunity to enjoy my game and to take it to the next level. So before you go out to yell at the referee, you say, oh, that guy. Go back and ask yourself the question, how do I want my team to remember me 20 years from now?
Yeah.
The other thing that I asked them is said, what record are you most proud of? And of course, to Lou's point, most people, oh, we were undefeated, we went 8-0, we won every game by 6 goals. And I said, let me tell you the record that I'm most proud of in my coaching career. And I did high school and college basketball for 20 years, and now I'm into the youth soccer development now. So I have a lot of coaching experience with me, and I've hung my banners. I've won my championships. Right. So my thing is this: the record that I'm most proud of. 2 years ago, I took over 2 teams in my church program. One team didn't even exist. The boys' team didn't even exist, and the girls' team, when they were in 6th grade, they were falling apart. They couldn't get 6 girls to come to the games.
All right.
2 years later, full teams, 20 girls on the roster, and by the time they were in 8th grade, 17, 18 girls showing up to every recreational game. The boys' team, out of nothing, 16 players, 17 players on the team, 14, 15 coming to every single game. The girls finished in Division I in their spring season in the 8th grade, 1-7.
Nice.
But every game competitive, 1-0, 2-1. That's not the record I'm proud of. Now, the boys' team, they finished 6-2 by the end of their spring season, the highest 8th grade level in Division I. So they went from a team that didn't exist to 2 years to a Division I team in rec. The girls went from a team that were forfeiting to Division I team. That's not the record I'm proud of. With those 2 teams, I had 16 players graduate in 8th grade that year. 12 of them decided they were going to try to play high school soccer. Now, mind you, I didn't have a single travel player on my team currently at that time. They were all recreational players. Of those 12 players that decided to play high school soccer, 10 of them made their varsities as freshmen. One made their JV, and one got hurt and wasn't able to play. So I had a 98% success rate of players that graduated out of me that got a chance to play at the next level. That's the record that I'm most proud of, and that's 20 years from now. I want those kids to remember me, that I helped them get the opportunity to play the next level of soccer.
All right, girls, what do you
That's the
think about
best
running
part
up the
about
score?
it.
Anybody? Anything on running up the scores?
We've been on a side that has, like, we haven't run up the score, but we have been more skilled than other teams.
Right.
So say, like, we score one goal in the first 30 seconds of the game, which has happened this year.
Okay.
So then after that, we would, okay, only this girl can score who's been a defender all year, and, oh, you have to get 10
Right.
passes, 20
Okay.
passes before you can score, which I think that's how it should be. Like, should continue to play,
Right.
because that's what we're here for, that's what we want to do. But you shouldn't, like, embarrass anybody else
Exactly.
for how they're playing. You should let everybody continue to play and make it a fair game. So
Okay.
you're
All right,
keep
we're
possession.
pressing for time, probably about 2 minutes or so to go.
I want to have a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
What do you think about restrictions when coach is putting a restriction during this type of situations?
I think restrictions are fair. Like, it's fair for the other team and it's fair for your team. And also, by not putting a restriction and letting your team run up the score, it's changing the mindset of the players. And, like, we played a team, the first place team in the outdoor league, who they were versing teams. They were winning 6-0, 7-0,
Yeah.
and they came into our game, and we were the first team who gave them a struggle in the first game. And we saw them; they were arguing with each other, they were yelling at each other, and it just changes the mindset of the team when they keep running up the score, and you allow them to run up the score and let them keep going, because they don't understand, like, when you don't ever fail before, if you don't have mistakes, then when you are failing or when you are struggling, then you're not going to be able to handle it. And we saw them when we actually tied them. They were screaming at each other this whole game, and that's not how a team
good.
plays, and that's not how you're going to overcome a challenge. If you're not able to communicate, if you're not able to accept failure, you're not going to be
Okay.
able to succeed.
Very good. Thank you. Brian?
So,
then we'll
and
get
to
Fred.
get to that point, I got to experience the tale of two teams in the same team, but on day one of Saturday of an EDP tournament, we played a team, beat us 9-1, just ripped us apart. The next day, we had to play them in the consolation game of the tournament. Same team, different coach. She played us. We wound up losing 4-1, but she played it fair. She kept her stronger players back. You can tell. You couldn't tell. I didn't hear her say this. But you could tell while she was making her substitutions, how she was making her players play. It was just a different game. They were better than us. I expected them to beat us bad, but we walked out of there losing 4-1. At least gave the kids a different demeanor, and it's just one coach on this day, one coach on this day, two separate coaches with different mentalities.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap up. Any last words? Anybody with a mic?
One thing.
I'm going to wrap up about 30 seconds.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you
Good
guys
luck
for
to the
coming on.
girls.
Let me just say that the girls made that decision on the field. They weren't even instructed
Right.
That's
to
great.
decide that
Excellent.
Jill's
Great.
going to score a
Excellent, yeah.
goal. And let me tell you something. Jill scored a goal on a corner kick that the referee called out of bounds. You know how it slices in? And she bodied it into the goal, and the ref waved the flag. The AR waved the flag. But we were so happy. We're counting it as a goal, right?
Shows maturity.
They made,
That's great.
They made the decision.
All right. That's going to do it for this show. Thank you, everyone, for coming on.
Thank you,
Rich.
everyone.
Good luck, girls.
Thank you.
Good
Have a
luck,
good night.
girls. Thank you.
Listen,
Great show.
by far the best
one
show
of-
we've had in a while.
Definitely. All right, they're telling us to do the wave, so I guess they want us to do the wave.
It's
you know?
very warm in here. We need to do the wave.
No, he's gonna go.
Go ahead. There you go. All right.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
Bari grande amore, Bari unica e sola, Bari nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola mai. Bari nel nostro non ti lasceremo da sola mai. E vai nel nostro cuore, non ti lasceremo da sola.